Hello my good people, today we're talking about the manga of Alice in Borderland. Initially I watched the Netflix series and I was decently interested, so I went to check on the manga and I was pleasantly surprised when I discovered that it is better in almost every single way. This isn't really a pros versus cons, adaptation versus source material type of video, but long story short, in the source material, there is a lot more backstory for both main characters and for secondary characters which may have not had as much time in the series, and also the series adds and changes some of the games where it actually adds plot holes and some slight inconsistencies which don't really seem to exist in the manga. So once again, unless you are very particular about live action, or if you're such a fan of the original manga that you want to watch the series anyways, if you're going to stick with one, read the manga and you'll be more satisfied. Now, for the manga itself, does this count as an isekai? So pretty much a lot of people are transported into this alternate Tokyo where everything is deserted and it appears obvious that many years have passed. Our characters quickly discover that they are visitors in this new country and that they are required visas to stay. How do they get those visas? They need to participate in killing games in order to win those visas. And what happens when the visa expires? That's right, they are killed. So this is our wholesome family time story, and it's very pleasant, a very pleasant journey altogether. Obviously I'm kidding, this series is very violent, but it's fun, it's a lot of fun, and the games are a lot of fun, and they're the main component of the story. Now, the games range from more hardcore violent versions of games we know in our real world, such as Blackjack, to some violent spins on games that we also know from the real world, such as Hide and Seek, to very original and fun games, which I will not spoil here, but I was reading this like, the author is very imaginative. How does he come up with this stuff? It's very cool. Although the name implies otherwise, Alice in Borderland is not a sequel or a spin-off or even based off the original Alice in Wonderland, although it has many references, such as the games, for example, are ordered into suits and then ordered by difficulty. Then we have some character names which are obvious references, such as, for example, our main character Arisu, which is Alice. Then we have Usagi, which stands for rabbit. And then we have, for example, the Mad Hatter and some other obvious characters. Overall, I don't think the Alice in Wonderland references really detract from it. They just add flavor since this is a new world type of journey. So overall, I thought it was cute, didn't really distract me. As I've said, the games are divided into suits, and the hearts games are the juiciest ones. They stand for the games where you use deception and lies, and they are overall made to deceive one's heart. They are the juiciest ones of the series, and I think pretty much all of the best games are heart games, with some exceptions I can think of in my mind, which I will not reveal here, but keep an eye for the hearts games. In terms of overall world building, I think the art does a very good sense of showing an empty Tokyo. So there's always this certain eeriness and emptiness in the world where, even though, for example, I've never been to Tokyo, but I know what Tokyo's supposed to look like, and seeing the city completely deserted and empty, our main characters feel so much smaller and vulnerable. So I really like the vibe of the series. Speaking of art, and even though this is one of those series where I read mostly for the story, don't worry, this isn't one of those Tokyo Ghoul, Attack on Titan type series where you're reading and you're kind of like, the story is very interesting, but sometimes I don't know what character is speaking, or I don't know what just happened in this panel. The art, in my opinion, is good, at least good enough for this type of series. Now, you may be wondering, you said the heart games are the juiciest ones, and the heart games are based on the characters, so are the characters any good? That's an excellent question. In this world, you have pretty much every type of personality, from the hedonists that just drown themselves in pleasure to try and numb themselves from the world, the cruel world that surrounds them, to the psychopaths that actually love the killing games. You also have more conflicted characters and more normal characters that are just trying to survive and doing their best. And you even have characters, mainly our main character, which suffer a lot from survivor's guilt, caused not only from their previous life, but also what they have suffered in this new world. While there are some fun games, mainly in side stories, where you can see the focus of the game is just really drawing and portraying a fun game, most of the main ones are used not only as a fun game to show to the audience, but also as vehicles for character growth. So expect a lot of flashbacks and introspection during this story. If this counts as an isekai, then it is definitely one of the deeper ones and one of the ones with the most realistic main character. Definitely the main character is decently intelligent, as is quickly shown, but he's not one of these 9,000 IQ isekai main protagonists that just pulverizes every challenge with the power of his brainwaves and gets all the chicks and everybody admires him and he's this like stud. No, the main character is pretty flawed enough where he's realistic, but not flawed enough where he's whiny. Without giving away any deep spoilers, our main character's arc is definitely a bit up and down, and there's a point in the story where people may get a little bit irritated that after all that he has gone through, that it seems like he's taking a step back. But don't worry, he is the main character and the story will move forward. I just think that it's interesting to put a character in this world with so much stress and pressure and death, and you know, there's going to inevitably be a boiling point, especially for a character that didn't do much or wasn't very brave or courageous in his previous life. A lot of isekai gets flack for being escapist junk, and I get that because quite honestly a lot of them are, and in this series a lot of the characters were actually neets or losers in their previous life, so there's a lot of poking fun at that and proving that from that point you can either move forward and progress or go further down a path of destruction, and I think our main character really exemplifies that. So without going into any spoilers, this is one of those series where really you get out of it as much as you want to take it seriously. I understand if some people think that the flashbacks and dialogue are cheesy and they don't really take it seriously and read it just for the death games and they get some enjoyment out of it. Personally, I got out of it a lot more, but that's just me. Regarding the ending, me personally, I thought it was fine. I know that some people don't like it. I thought it was a satisfying ending without relying too much on magic and crazy stuff. I thought it was fine. And you know, Alice in Borderland I think is a really nice binge series. You can read it and just have fun with it. Some of the side stories and side games are also very cool, so don't skip those. And yeah, this was the video and hope you enjoyed it. Bye.